but we do not need to write these 5 lines every time. We can just use a for each command. Let's make the y-axis of our figure to here. Let's copy this and put here, and now I will start from 0, 0, but I will end at 0, 6, and I will write here above y, for example. Let's add this and see the result first. Okay, now I'd like to add the numbers from 1 to 6 here. To do that, I can just copy this and change the places of these, or I can just write a code including a for loop. The for loops in LaTeX can be used using this for each command, and we need to change the y-axis from 1 to 5, right? So let's define a y here. For each y in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not putting a semicolon here, not putting, and then I'm coming here. I'd like to write I'd like to put my drawings here from x minus 0.1 to 0.1, minus 0.1 y to 0.1 y, but because I will write my nodes to the left of my this point, left of this point, I'd like to write this location to here. So I need to change this one to minus and this one to plus. Okay, and I will always write the y values to the left of my nodes. Okay, so here instead of these 6 lines, I just write 3 lines. When I save and exit, and when I run my document, you will see 1 to 5 came to here. Like using the for each, we can also make some other drawings. Let's copy this figure from here and paste it here. Let's make a simple example first, then we will make an animation. Let's change the caption to lines with numbers using for each. Now I'd like to make lines from -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And these will be the locations of my lines in the y-axis, in the y direction. And I'd like to make from x0 to x4, for example. So from x0 to x4, I'd like to do them. And I want to write these volume numbers, the line numbers on the top of my files. Let me remove this one. I don't need that one anymore. On the top. So I will write above, but it will write this one above this point. So if I put a comma and write midway here, then my line numbers will come to the in the middle and above of my lines. All right, let's draw and see the result. So this is our new figure. Okay, like we just write 2 line of code to draw 9 lines and write 9 numbers on them. We can also add nodes like this, and let's say at -1 to y location we are adding, and again let's say we are adding the line numbers. Without drawing something, we can add some nodes in LaTeX, but if we run this one, we will get an error because it will say that y is not defined, because we opened the for each here, we didn't put a semicolon here, and we put the semicolon here. So this is our for loop, first for loop. So to write this line, we need to copy this for each to here too. So this one will be our second for loop. Save and exit, run, and see the result. Okay. Sometimes, let's say we would like to write something here, but we do not know the coordinates. We use this node, but let's say we want to write something exactly here, but we don't know this one's coordinate, right? In TIX, we can draw a grid, and we can put like the grid numbers and grid lines to see the coordinates of our picture. Then we can remove it after making our picture. Okay, to do that we can use this way. Let's copy this figure from here to here. Let's change the caption to grid lines. To do that, we can use the grid function. Let's draw something and use step equals 0.1 centimeters, gray, but 50% white, and the line width is 0.1 pt. From -3 to -3, grid 6 to 6. Okay, and make it again, but this time the step will be 1 centimeters, and let's make these ones color. Let's make these ones color 10% gray, 90% white, and these ones color 50% gray, 50% white. Line width, let's make 0.3. So we are making major lines, like putting them in each 1 centimeters, and we are making some minor grid lines, putting them at each 0.1 centimeters. Okay, let's comment out these 4 lines by putting the percent sign here, because we are working in the LaTeX document. We can put the percent signs just by writing this. Now let's draw this grid line. As you see, we have grid lines here, so we know that it starts from -3 to -3 and it goes to 6 to 6. So if this is -3, this is -2, -1, this is 0, right? So this point is 0.0. Let's add a circle to see if that point is 0.0. Let's draw at 0.0 a circle with 0.1 pt. So this circle is here now, right? Or if you don't want to use the pt, you can use 1 millimeters. When we do that, we will see that the radius of this circle will be 1 millimeter, so the circle will be in these 4 squares. Okay, if you make it like 0.5 millimeter, it will be half. Anyway, now this is our 0, 0 location, but like we cannot calculate this location by just looking this one, right? So we can add the numbers here. We can use the foreach commands to add the numbers there. Now let's use foreach from -3 to 6. We have already prepared to this one, and then let's draw from 0 to y. Let me check and write the numbers to the left, 0 to y to 0 to sorry, let me make this one node at 0 to y location, and write y at each node, and make this one again for the x axis. We also have the same values for the x axis. Please don't think that this is x. We defined it with y, or you can also define it with x. Okay, now when we do that, hopefully, yeah, it will write the point location numbers on our grid lines. Now we can write anything here. Let's write BTU to the 2.5 1.5 location here, or right here to 4.5 3.5 location. Let's add a node at 4.5 to 3.5 location, and write BTU. Okay, and like if we have a spline here, draw a spline, draw a ellipse at the location, let's say the center is 2 2, or like let's make 3 to 2, and let's draw the line here at the ellipse here like this one. Okay, 3 to 2 ellipse, and write the first radius as 3 centimeters and 2 centimeters for the second radius. Okay, if we want to put a node exactly here, this point, you can just zoom in and then check that this point location is in the x-axis 1.2, and in the y-axis is 3.6. 1.2 to 3.6. Let's draw a circle here, 1.2 and 3.6 circle with like 0.5 millimeter radius, and let's make this circle is filled with red, and it's, let's say, filled with red first. So we put this circle here filled with red. This is filled with red, but when we, like, let's make this 5 millimeter to see better. This is filled with red, but the surrounding is still black. Okay, so we have two colors. One of them is fill color and one of them is the line color. If we add one more red here, we will also make the line color red. All right, so After using these grid lines, you can just come to the grid line part. We do not need this circle anymore. So this part is for grid lines. You can just add a % sign to get rid of them. Okay, so you have the figure and you write this BTU wherever you want, you put this circle wherever you want them. Okay, so we used for each for our grid lines to show the numbers on the grid lines.